Welcome to the ultimate C2 vocabulary mastery video. Are you ready to elevate your English to the highest level? In this video, we'll delve into a treasure trove of 100 C2-level words that will make your language skills shine like never before. We'll explore a rich collection of words, including 30 powerful nouns, 35 descriptive adjectives, 35 dynamic verbs. Each word is carefully selected to not only enhance your vocabulary but also to help you master the nuances of advanced English. I've curated a way to learn these words effortlessly, providing the word, meaning, etymology, imagery examples with word game, real-life scenario sentences. This comprehensive approach will help you learn and activate the words with ease. Let's get started. Advent. The arrival or creation of something significant, often marking the beginning of a new era or major event. From Latin adventus, meaning arrival or coming. Picture a dawn breaking over the horizon, symbolizing the start of a new day. A new flower blooming, representing the advent of spring. The advent of the Internet has revolutionized the way we communicate and access information. The advent of smartphones has changed the way we communicate. With the advent of social media, people can now connect with others worldwide instantly. Afford. To be able to buy, to be able to spare. From Old English, Geforthian, meaning, to carry out, to further. Saving money so he can afford to buy a new car. Sparing time for a hobby, representing the ability to afford leisure activities. He is saving money so he can afford to buy a new car. She can't afford to lose any more pencils. With her new job, she can finally afford to travel abroad. Altercation. A noisy argument or confrontation. From Latin altercationem, meaning a dispute, wrangle. Two cats hissing and fighting, representing an altercation. People shouting in a heated debate, symbolizing a public altercation. Greg got into an altercation with a stranger at the bar. The altercation between the neighbors caused a scene. The altercation at the meeting disrupted the proceedings. Ambivalence. The state of being uncertain or stuck between two or more options. From Latin ambi, meaning both, and valentia, meaning strength. A person standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. A person holding two different items, struggling to choose one. His ambivalence prevented him from signing the contract. Her ambivalence about moving to a new city was evident. The manager's ambivalence on the decision delayed the project. Anomaly. Something different from the norm. From Greek anomalos, meaning uneven, irregular. A bright red apple among a group of green apples, representing an anomaly. A white crow in a flock of black crows, symbolizing an unusual anomaly. The result was an anomaly and rarely happens. The scientist noted an anomaly in the experiment's data. The anomaly in the system caused an unexpected error. Antipathy. A strong feeling of dislike. From Greek antipathia, meaning opposition of feeling. Two people with their backs to each other, symbolizing antipathy. A cat hissing at a dog, representing a clear feeling of antipathy. Her antipathy towards the professor was obvious. He felt a strong antipathy towards the new policy. The antipathy between the two colleagues affected their work. Apex. The highest point of something. From Latin apex, meaning summit, peak, tip. A mountain peak touching the sky, representing the apex. The topmost point of a pyramid, symbolizing the apex. The spring play was the apex of our school year. Reaching the summit of Mount Everest was the apex of his life. The company reached its apex during the last financial quarter. Apprehension. Fearful expectation of something. From Latin apprehensio, meaning seizure, perception. A person biting their nails in worry, representing apprehension. A child hiding behind their parent, symbolizing apprehension about the unknown. Her apprehension about the exam made her physically sick. He felt apprehension before his job interview. The looming deadline caused a sense of apprehension among the team. Assertion. A strong declaration. From Latin assertio, meaning declaration, affirmation. A judge making a firm statement in court. A teacher confidently explaining a concept to students. His assertion that sharks are mammals made everyone laugh. She made a bold assertion during the meeting. The scientist's assertion was supported by ample evidence. Avenue. An intangible path or approach to something. From Latin avenue, meaning approach, arrival. A long road leading to a grand building. A series of doors opening to different opportunities. The company is exploring new avenues for growth. She found an avenue to express her creativity through art. He pursued every avenue to achieve his goal. Counterargument. An argument used to criticize or dismantle another argument. From Latin contra dash, meaning against, and arguere, meaning to argue. A debate where each side presents opposing views. A lawyer presenting a rebuttal in court. Make sure to include a counterargument in your essay to show you've considered the topic from all perspectives. The politician delivered a strong counterargument during the debate. Her counterargument weakened the opposition's stance. Culmination. The final act or climax. From Latin culminare, meaning to crown, finish. A fireworks display at the end of a celebration. The peak of a mountain after a long climb. The culmination of the performance was unforgettable. The project reached its culmination after months of hard work. Graduation day was the culmination of years of study. Decree. To declare formally and with authority. From Latin decretum, meaning a decree, decision. A king issuing an official command. A government official signing a new law. The president decreed that the birth of his son would be a national holiday. The court issued a decree to enforce the new regulations. The manager decreed that all meetings would start at 9 a.m. sharp. Deference. Respect or regard. From Latin defer, meaning to carry away, to yield. A young person showing respect to an elder. A bowing gesture as a sign of respect. Her deference to the elderly made her the perfect candidate for the internship. He showed deference to his mentor by seeking advice before making decisions. The team's deference to their leader ensured smooth project execution. Diligence. Conscientiousness, commitment to a task. From Latin diligentia, meaning attentiveness, carefulness. A student studying late into the night. A gardener meticulously tending to plants. Diligence and confidence will get you far in life. Her diligence in researching the topic impressed the professor. The employee's diligence was recognized with a promotion. Discord. Disagreement or dispute. From Latin discordia, meaning disagreement, strife. Two people arguing intensely. A band playing out of tune. Money caused intense discord in the family. The discord between the partners led to the business's downfall. Political discord can lead to instability in a country. Disdain. A lack of respect and strong dislike towards something or someone. From Latin dedignare, meaning to deem unworthy. A person turning their nose up at a dish they don't like. A student rolling their eyes at a teacher's comment. He looked at me with disdain, so I knew the job wouldn't work out. Her disdain for dishonesty was evident in her words. The critic's disdain for the movie was clear in the harsh review. Dismay. Hopelessness, stress, or consternation. From Old French dismayer, meaning to be dismayed. A person dropping their shoulders in defeat. A child with a tearful face after losing a toy. To Nick's dismay, he got an F on the test. Her dismay was palpable when she heard the bad news. The team's dismay was evident after the project's failure. Diversification. The act of becoming more varied or diverse. From Latin diversificare, meaning to make diverse. A garden with a variety of different plants and flowers. A company adding new products to their lineup. Lately, there has been noticeable diversification of students at higher institutions. The diversification of crops helps improve soil health. The company's diversification strategy led to increased profits. Doctrine. A principle, theory, or position, often advocated by a religion or government. From Latin doctrina, meaning teaching, instruction. A preacher delivering a sermon based on religious doctrine. A classroom where the teacher is explaining a theory. Devoutly religious people often live their lives according to their doctrines. The government's new doctrine focused on economic reform. The doctrine of free speech is fundamental to a democratic society. Dominion. Power and authority, usually over a territory, can also mean a legal territory. From Latin dominium, meaning ownership, property. A king standing over his kingdom with a sense of control. A cat watching over its territory from a high perch. Puerto Rico is a dominion of the U.S. The country claimed to have dominion over its neighbor. The emperor's dominion extended over vast lands. Feasibility. The practicality or possibility of something. From Old French, feasible, meaning, that may be done. An architect assessing whether a building plan is achievable. A student evaluating whether a project can be completed on time. The feasibility of her project was doubtful. The team conducted a feasibility study before starting the construction. The feasibility of traveling to Mars is still under research. Ferocity. Viciousness, violence, or intensity. From Latin ferocitas, meaning fierceness. A lion roaring in the wild, showcasing its ferocity. A storm with fierce winds and heavy rain. The lion is known for its ferocity. The ferocity of the debate surprised everyone. The ferocity of the storm caused widespread damage. Impartiality. Equal and objective treatment of opposing views. From Old French, impartialite, meaning even-handed. A judge weighing evidence fairly without bias. A referee making fair decisions during a game. To ensure impartiality, everyone must follow the guidelines. The newspaper is known for its impartiality in reporting. The mediator's impartiality helped resolve the conflict. Imposition. An unnecessary burden. From Latin impositio, meaning placing upon. A heavy load being placed on someone's shoulders. A person being asked to do a tedious, time-consuming task. If it's not too much of an imposition, could you proofread my paper? He felt the request was an imposition on his time. The new policy was seen as an imposition by the employees. Indifference. Apathy or emotional detachment. From Latin, indifferentia, meaning lack of difference. A person walking past a beggar without acknowledging them. A student showing no reaction to receiving a low grade. The girl's indifference towards her brother upset their parents. His indifference to the team's success was frustrating. The politician's indifference to the issue caused public outrage. Inversion. A reversal. From Latin, invertio, meaning a turning upside down. A house being flipped upside down, representing inversion. A person doing a handstand, symbolizing an inverted position. The cultural norms were an inversion of our own. The inversion of roles in the play added a comedic effect. The inversion of power dynamics was evident in the new leadership structure. Lament. To mourn or feel sorry for. From Latin lamentari, meaning to wail, moan. A person crying at a funeral. A solitary figure standing in the rain, representing sadness. Susan lamented her misfortune of going to Europe with her high school class. He lamented the loss of his favorite pet. The community lamented the closing of the local library. Locomotion. Movement or the ability to move from one place to another. From Latin, locomotionem, meaning a moving from place to place. A train moving along its tracks, symbolizing locomotion. A person walking, representing the basic form of locomotion. Physics includes the study of locomotion. The invention of the wheel greatly improved human locomotion. The athlete's skill in locomotion was evident in the race. Acquisition. The act of gaining a skill or possession. From Latin acquisitio, meaning a getting, obtaining. A person collecting rare stamps. A company acquiring a smaller business. Language acquisition is easier for kids than adults. The acquisition of new skills is essential for career growth. The company's latest acquisition has expanded their market reach. Lucrative. Capable of making a lot of money, profitable. From Latin lucrativus, meaning gainful, profitable. A treasure chest overflowing with gold coins. A business person shaking hands with a satisfied client. Writing books isn't always lucrative. The investment in the tech company proved to be very lucrative. The real estate market can be highly lucrative for successful agents. Lexis. The total stock of words in a language. From Greek lexis, meaning word, speech. A dictionary containing an extensive vocabulary. A bookshelf filled with language textbooks. The lexis of the English language is vast and constantly evolving. She has a rich lexis due to her extensive reading habits. Learning new lexis helps improve language proficiency. Adversarial. Involving or characterized by conflict or opposition. From Latin adversarius, meaning opponent, adversary. Two people facing off in a boxing ring. A chess match between two fierce competitors. An adversarial attitude will make you many enemies. The legal system is inherently adversarial. The adversarial relationship between the two companies hindered negotiations. Aesthetic. Concerned with beauty or the appreciation of beauty. From Greek aesthetikos, meaning perceptive, sensitive. A beautifully decorated room. A scenic landscape painting. The aesthetic decorations at the wedding reception made you feel as if you were in a fairy tale. The artist's aesthetic sense is evident in her work. The aesthetic appeal of the building attracted many visitors. Ambiguous. Open to more than one interpretation, not having one obvious meaning. From Latin ambiguous, meaning having double meaning. A shadowy figure whose features are unclear. A sentence that can be understood in multiple ways. Her ambiguous statement made me question whether she could be trusted. The instructions were so ambiguous that everyone had a different interpretation. The ambiguous ending of the movie left the audience confused. Ambitious. Having a strong desire for success or achievement. From Latin ambitiosus, meaning eager for public office. A person reaching for the stars. A student studying late into the night. Penny is so ambitious, she wants to be a government minister. The ambitious project aims to revolutionize the industry. His ambitious nature drives him to constantly seek new challenges. Analogous. Comparable in certain respects, typically in a way that makes clearer the nature of the things compared. From Greek analogos, meaning proportionate, according to a ratio. A diagram comparing the human heart to a pump. A map showing how the branches of a tree resemble the organization of a company. Green onions are considered analogous to spring onions. The two situations are analogous, making it easier to understand the concept. Crocodiles are considered analogous to alligators. Artificial. Made by humans, not occurring naturally. From Latin artificialis, meaning of or belonging to art. A synthetic flower that looks real but isn't. A robot designed to mimic human behavior. Many sweets use artificial flavors to enhance their taste. The artificial intelligence system can perform complex tasks. She wore an artificial smile to hide her true feelings. Austere. Extremely plain and simple, stern and cold in appearance or manner. From Greek austeros, meaning harsh, severe. A bare, minimalist room with no decorations. A strict teacher with a stern expression. He lived in a small, austere cabin in the middle of the woods. The austere design of the building reflected its functional purpose. Her austere lifestyle involved no luxuries or indulgences. Authentic. Real and genuine, not fake or imitation. From Greek authentikos, meaning original, genuine. A handcrafted piece of artwork. An ancient artifact verified by experts. The restaurant is known for its authentic Italian cuisine. She prides herself on her authentic and honest approach to work. The historian confirmed the document's authentic origin. Counterproductive. Hindering the achievement of a goal. From Latin, contra meaning against, and producere meaning to produce. A person trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Exercising too much, leading to injury rather than fitness. Taking a shortcut turned out to be counterproductive as it took longer to reach the destination. Procrastinating before an exam is counterproductive to performing well. Complaining about the problem without offering solutions is counterproductive. Deficient. Not enough in degree or amount. From Latin deficere, meaning to fail, to be lacking. A plant wilting due to lack of water. A student missing several key points in their essay. The sources in my paper are deficient and need more research. His diet was deficient in essential nutrients, leading to health issues. The company's deficient safety measures resulted in accidents. Desolate. Bare, barren, or empty. From Latin desolatus, meaning forsaken, abandoned. A deserted, barren landscape with no signs of life. An abandoned house with broken windows. The moon is a desolate landscape with no atmosphere. The once thriving town is now a desolate and empty place. She felt desolate after her friends moved away. Dire. Extremely serious or urgent. From Latin dirus, meaning fearful, ominous. A person shouting in panic during an emergency. A storm approaching with dark, menacing clouds. The dire warnings about the hurricane prompted immediate evacuations. The company's dire financial situation required drastic measures. He found himself in dire need of medical attention after the accident. Dreary. Sad, gloomy, or dull. From Old English, dreorig, meaning gory, cruel, sad. A rainy day with gray clouds covering the sky. A wilted flower in a neglected garden. The gray clouds made the day feel dreary. The office had a dreary atmosphere with its lack of windows. His voice sounded dreary as he recounted the sad news. Dubious. Hesitating or doubting, not to be relied upon. From Latin dubiosus, meaning doubtful. A person scratching their head in confusion. A shady character hiding in the shadows. The man's claim to the throne was dubious since nobody knew where he'd come from. She had a dubious expression when she heard the unbelievable story. The authenticity of the document seemed dubious to the experts. Eccentric. Peculiar or odd, deviating from the norm. From Greek ekentros, meaning out of the center. A person wearing mismatched clothes with bright colors. An artist creating an abstract, unconventional piece. She's a little eccentric but still fun to be around. His eccentric behavior made him a well-known figure in the town. The inventor's eccentric ideas led to some groundbreaking innovations. Egregious. Extremely bad and noticeable. From Latin egregious, meaning distinguished, illustrious. A huge red X marking a glaring error on a paper. A massive spill spreading across the floor. Emily felt she made an egregious mistake by cheating on the exam. The company's egregious violation of labor laws caused public outrage. His egregious behavior at the party embarrassed everyone. Eloquent. Having refined or expressive communication skills in speaking or writing. From Latin eloquentum, meaning speaking out. A skilled orator delivering a powerful speech. A writer crafting beautiful, flowing prose. His speech was not only eloquent but also extremely compelling. The lawyer's eloquent argument swayed the jury. Her eloquent writing style captivated readers from the first page. Eminent. Distinguished or superior in position or status. From Latin eminere, meaning to stand out. A renowned scientist receiving a prestigious award. A famous author signing books for fans. The eminent magician came to perform in our town. The town's most eminent historian gave a lecture at the museum. The chef is an eminent figure in the culinary world. Empirical. Based on observation or experience rather than theory or pure logic. From Greek empirikos, meaning experienced. A scientist conducting experiments in a lab. Data collected from field research. You need empirical evidence to support your claim. The empirical data confirmed the hypothesis. His conclusions were based on empirical observations rather than assumptions. Erratic. Unpredictable, deviating from the norm. From Latin erraticus, meaning wandering, straying. A car swerving unpredictably on the road. A person changing their mind frequently. His erratic behavior caused great concern to his family and friends. The weather has been quite erratic lately, making it hard to plan outings. The company's erratic stock prices worried investors. Exhilarating. Making one feel very happy, animated, or elated, thrilling. From Latin exhilarare, meaning to make cheerful. A roller coaster ride inducing a sense of thrill. A person skydiving for the first time. The music playing at the club was catchy and exhilarating. The exhilarating hike left everyone feeling invigorated. Her exhilarating performance captivated the audience from start to finish. Fiscal. Relating to government revenue, especially taxes. From Latin fiscalis, meaning of or belonging to the state treasury. A person calculating taxes on a spreadsheet. A government building with tax documents stacked high. Fiscal policy influences the economy significantly. The fiscal year ends in December for most companies. The government's fiscal responsibilities include managing public funds. Freewheeling. Carefree and unrestrained, uninhibited. From the concept of a bicycle, freewheel, that spins without pedaling. A person dancing freely at a music festival. A group of friends on a spontaneous road trip. His freewheeling attitude got him into trouble at work. The artist's freewheeling style led to some unique creations. She led a freewheeling lifestyle, exploring new places without a plan. Fundamental. serving as a basic, essential foundation or core. From Latin, fundamentalis, meaning of the foundation. The base of a strong building holding it up. The roots of a tree providing stability. A thesis is the most fundamental part of an academic paper. Understanding basic math is fundamental to learning advanced topics. The right to freedom of speech is a fundamental principle of democracy. Galvanizing. Stimulating and energizing, thrilling or exciting. From Italian galvanizer, meaning to stimulate by electricity. A crowd cheering at a concert. A coach giving an inspiring speech to the team. The galvanizing performance left the audience spellbound. His speech was galvanizing, sparking a movement among the listeners. The galvanizing news of the discovery excited scientists worldwide. Geriatric. Relating to old age or the care of elderly people. From Greek, geras, meaning old age, and iatros, meaning doctor. An elderly couple walking hand in a park. A nurse helping an older patient in a hospital. She became interested in geriatric medicine after her grandfather's illness. The hospital has a dedicated geriatric ward for elderly patients. Geriatric care focuses on the health and well-being of elderly individuals. Hostile. Unfriendly, antagonistic, or dangerous. From Latin hostilis, meaning of an enemy. A barking dog showing its teeth. A storm with dark, menacing clouds. The voices around the corner sounded hostile and threatening. He faced a hostile audience during the debate. The environment in the war zone was extremely hostile. Hypothetical. Supposed or imagined for the purpose of reasoning or discussion. From Greek hypothetikos, meaning pertaining to a supposition. A diagram showing a theoretical situation. A person imagining various outcomes of a decision. For the physics homework, I must create a hypothetical situation. The hypothetical scenario helped them prepare for real-life challenges. Discussing hypothetical questions can help in critical thinking exercises. Impartial. Treating all rivals or disputants equally, fair and just. From Latin, impartialem, meaning not partial. A judge weighing evidence without bias. A referee making fair calls in a game. To ensure impartiality, everyone must follow the guidelines strictly. The mediator remained impartial during the negotiation process. It is crucial for journalists to be impartial in their reporting. Indiscriminate. Random or without careful judgment, not showing distinction. From Latin, indiscriminatus, meaning not divided. A person throwing seeds randomly across a field. A painter splashing colors on a canvas without a plan. Lottery winners are chosen indiscriminately. The indiscriminate use of antibiotics can lead to resistance. The bomb caused indiscriminate damage to the surrounding area. Insatiable. Impossible to satisfy, always wanting more. From Latin, insatiabilis, meaning not able to be satisfied. A person endlessly eating without feeling full. A vampire with an unquenchable thirst for blood. A vampire's thirst for blood is insatiable. His insatiable curiosity led him to explore every corner of the world. The demand for the product was insatiable, exceeding supply. Irreconcilable. Incapable of being in harmony or agreed upon. From Latin, irreconciliare, meaning, not to bring together again. Two puzzle pieces that do not fit together. A broken mirror that cannot be repaired. The couple's differences were irreconcilable, leading to divorce. The conflict between the two groups proved to be irreconcilable. The irreconcilable views of the board members hindered progress. Lucrative. Producing a great deal of profit, highly profitable. From Latin lucrativus, meaning gainful, profitable. A businessman shaking hands on a deal with dollar signs floating above. A treasure chest overflowing with gold coins. Writing books isn't always lucrative, but she managed to make a fortune. The real estate market has always been lucrative for smart investors. The software development industry offers many lucrative opportunities. Abate. To become less intense or widespread. From Old French abater, meaning to fell, strike down. A storm gradually calming down. A person calming their anger. My nervousness abated as I began my speech. The storm finally abated, and we could go outside. The doctor's treatment helped abate the patient's pain. Adapt. To adjust or modify to suit a new condition or environment. From Latin adaptar, meaning to adjust, fit to. A chameleon changing colors to blend into its surroundings. A person adjusting to a new culture after moving abroad. Dogs adapt quickly to their environments. She had to adapt to the new software at work. Plants can adapt to varying levels of sunlight. Advocate. To publicly recommend or support. From Latin advocatus, meaning one called to aid. A lawyer defending a client in court. An activist speaking at a rally. Environmental protesters advocate for cleaner energy. He advocates for equal rights for all citizens. She decided to advocate for better mental health services. Agitate. To promote a cause or to stir up public concern. From Latin agitare, meaning to set in motion. Protesters marching with signs. A washing machine vigorously cleaning clothes. They're agitating for better healthcare services. The speech agitated the crowd, leading to a protest. He was agitated by the news of the unfair policy. Allude. To refer to indirectly or subtly. From Latin alludere, meaning to play with, joke, jest. A writer hinting at a past event in a story. A person mentioning a famous movie without naming it. She alluded to the problem but didn't elaborate. The article alludes to several recent studies. In his speech, he alluded to the company's financial troubles. Annihilate. To destroy completely. From Latin annihilare, meaning to reduce to nothing. A building being demolished by a wrecking ball. An army overwhelming and destroying its opponent. The dictator ordered the rebels to be annihilated. The fire annihilated the entire forest. The new policy could annihilate small businesses. Anticipate. To expect or predict. From Latin anticipatus, meaning to take care of, ahead of time. A person eagerly waiting for a package delivery. A student studying hard for an upcoming exam. The party was as fun as I had anticipated. She anticipated a positive response from the audience. The team anticipated a tough match against their rivals. Articulate. To express clearly in words. From Latin articulatus, meaning to separate into joints, utter distinctly. A speaker conveying their ideas clearly to an audience. A teacher explaining a complex concept in simple terms. She articulated her opinion on his controversial views. The coach articulated the game plan to the team. He struggled to articulate his feelings. Cultivate. To foster the growth or development of something. From Latin cultivare, meaning to till, prepare for crops. A gardener tending to plants in a garden. A teacher nurturing students' talents. Teachers cultivate students' academic potential. The farmer cultivates the land every spring. Reading books can help cultivate a love for learning. Demonstrate. To show or make clear by reasoning or evidence. From Latin demonstrare, meaning to point out, show, indicate. A scientist demonstrating an experiment. A chef showing how to cook a dish step by step. The instructor demonstrated how to use the new software. He demonstrated his skills in the presentation. The protesters demonstrated in front of the government building. Deplete. To use up the supply or resources of something. From Latin depletus, meaning emptied out. A fuel gauge showing empty. A nearly empty water bottle after a hike. The campers depleted their food supply during the trip. The battery was depleted after hours of use. Resources are being depleted at an alarming rate. Devise. To plan or invent by careful thought. From Latin divisare, meaning to divide, distribute. An inventor creating a new gadget in their workshop. A group brainstorming ideas for a project. Lana devised a plan to make herself famous. Engineers devised a new system for waste management. They devised a strategy to improve sales. Diminish. To become smaller or less important. From Latin diminutere, meaning to reduce, lessen. A candle burning down to a stub. A shrinking stack of books being read. The itchiness of mosquito bites diminishes after a few days. The noise began to diminish as the crowd left. His influence in the company has diminished over time. Disparage. To belittle or speak down to someone. From Old French disparager, meaning to degrade, dishonor. A person scoffing at another's efforts. A critic harshly reviewing a performance. A good boss is stern but never disparages employees. She felt disparaged by her colleagues' remarks. The politician's comments were intended to disparage his opponent. Dispatch. To send off to a destination or for a purpose. From Italian dispacciare, meaning to send away hastily. A messenger delivering a letter. An ambulance rushing to an emergency scene. The mother dispatched her daughter to the neighbor's house. The company dispatched a team to handle the crisis. He dispatched the report to the headquarters promptly. Emit. To produce or discharge something, usually gas or radiation. From Latin emittera, meaning to send out. A chimney emitting smoke into the air. A light bulb emitting a warm glow. Plants emit oxygen during photosynthesis. The factory emits harmful gases into the atmosphere. The speaker emitted a loud, clear sound. Endow. To provide with a quality, ability, or asset. From Old French endower, meaning to provide with a dowry. A university receiving a large donation. A child inheriting a talent for music. The gods endowed him with the gift of healing. The scholarship was endowed by a generous benefactor. She was endowed with a remarkable talent for painting. Endure. To suffer patiently, to last or survive through difficulties. From Latin indurare, meaning to harden. A runner persevering through a marathon. A tree standing tall in a storm. I can't endure the wait any longer. He endured the long hours of work without complaint. The old building has endured for centuries. Entail. To involve or include as a necessary or inevitable part. From Latin intagliare, meaning to cut into, carve, engrave. A contract with detailed terms and conditions. A recipe that requires specific ingredients. A doctoral program entails long nights and heavy workloads. The project will entail a significant investment of time and resources. Building a house entails many different steps and materials. Enumerate. To mention a number of things, one by one. From Latin enumeratus, meaning to count out, number. A list of tasks being checked off one by one. A teacher listing students' names on the board. I can't enumerate how many times I've reminded my students. The report enumerates several key findings from the study. She began to enumerate the reasons for her decision. Evoke. To bring or recall to the conscious mind. From Latin evocare, meaning to call out, summon forth. A photograph bringing back memories of a past vacation. A familiar smell reminding someone of their childhood. Horror movies evoke too much fear in me. The old song evoked a sense of nostalgia. His speech evoked strong emotions among the audience. Exacerbate. To make a problem, bad situation, or negative feeling, worse. From Latin exacerbatus, meaning to make harsh, irritate. A person scratching an itchy rash, making it worse. A heavy rainstorm worsening flooding in an area. Running can exacerbate a knee injury. The lack of sleep exacerbated his stress. The new policy only served to exacerbate existing tensions. Excel. To be exceptionally good at or proficient in an activity or subject. From Latin excellere, meaning to rise, surpass, be eminent. A student receiving an award for top grades. An athlete standing on the winner's podium. She excelled especially in science. He always strives to excel in everything he does. The company excels in customer service. Exert. To apply or bring to bear, a force, influence, or quality. From Latin exerere, meaning to thrust out. A weightlifter straining to lift a heavy barbell. A person pushing a stalled car. Don't exert all your energy at once. She had to exert considerable effort to complete the project. The president exerted his influence to pass the bill. Expand. To become or make larger or more extensive. From Latin expandere, meaning to spread out, unfold. A balloon inflating with air. A city growing with new buildings and roads. The company plans to expand its operations overseas. His knowledge of the subject has expanded over the years. They decided to expand the garden to include more plants. Exploit. To make use of something in a way considered unfair or underhanded. From Latin exploitar, meaning to use, utilize, perform. A miner extracting resources from the earth. A company taking advantage of workers. The company exploited its workers by paying them low wages. He was accused of exploiting the situation for his own gain. They exploited the loophole in the law to avoid taxes. Facilitate. To make an action or process easier. From Latin facilitatis, meaning to make easy. A teacher helping students understand a complex topic. A guide leading a group through a challenging trail. The new software will facilitate project management. The instructor's clear explanations facilitated learning. The meeting was facilitated by a skilled moderator. Flourish. To grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way. From Latin flora, meaning to bloom, blossom. A garden thriving with blooming flowers. A business showing rapid growth and success. The plants flourished under the care of the gardener. Her career began to flourish after she moved to the city. The arts community flourished during the Renaissance. Fluctuate. To rise and fall irregularly in number or amount. From Latin fluctuare, meaning to wave, flow like a wave. A graph showing fluctuating stock prices. A thermometer showing varying temperatures. Stock prices fluctuate daily based on market conditions. His mood seemed to fluctuate with the weather. Water levels in the river fluctuate throughout the year. Foment. To instigate or stir up an undesirable or violent sentiment or course of action. From Latin fomentum, meaning a warm application, fomentation. Protesters rallying against a policy. A person spreading rumors to create discord. The leader was accused of fomenting political unrest. Her speech fomented anger among the workers. They tried to foment rebellion among the citizens. Incite. To encourage or stir up violent or unlawful behavior. From Latin incitare, meaning to put into rapid motion. A person shouting to spur on a crowd. A provocateur stirring up a mob. Her words incited anger in the crowd. The rebel leader incited the soldiers to mutiny. His provocative comments incited a heated debate. Indulge. To allow oneself to enjoy the pleasure of something. From Latin indulgere, meaning to be kind, yield. A person eating a large slice of cake. A shopper buying luxurious items. My friend loves to indulge in cheesy romance movies. She decided to indulge in a day of relaxation at the spa. He indulges his sweet tooth every weekend with homemade desserts. Infer. To deduce or conclude information from evidence and reasoning rather than from explicit statements. From Latin, infer, meaning to bring in, infer. A detective piecing together clues. A person reading between the lines of a text. You can infer from the quotation that the writer didn't care for pretty language. She inferred from his tone that he was upset. The scientist inferred the results from the data collected during the experiment. Invoke. To call on a higher power for assistance, support, or inspiration. From Latin, invocare, meaning to call upon, invoke. A shaman invoking spirits during a ritual. A person reciting an oath in a courtroom. The shaman attempted to invoke a demon. She invoked her right to remain silent during the interrogation. The poem invokes a sense of nostalgia and longing. Galvanize. To shock or excite someone into taking action. From Italian, galvanizer, meaning to stimulate by electricity. A coach giving an inspiring speech to a team. A crowd cheering enthusiastically at a rally. The galvanizing performance left the audience spellbound. His speech galvanized the community to take action on climate change. The news of the breakthrough galvanized scientists worldwide.